One of the big pushes for modern displays is to boost the refresh rate higher and higher. And one of the most demanded refresh rates is 144 Hertz. But for a long time now, that's only really been available in TN panels and VA panels. While VA is a bit better than TN panels have sort of an issue with viewing angles and color reproduction. But when I saw that ASUS had made a full HD IPS display at 144 Hertz with 1 millisecond response time for only $160, I just had to order it. And that, my friends, is the panel that you see before you. So could it be all that it cracks up to be? Well, let's first talk about some of its features. It's a 23.8-inch display with a wide 178-degree viewing angle. And as mentioned, it goes up to 144 Hertz as its refresh rate. With Adaptive Sync FreeSync. It has an HDMI DisplayPort and VGA port, and shockingly enough, even includes speakers, though they're not really great. But if you don't have any, and you're just starting from scratch, then I suppose they'll do. One of the nicest things, as you can see, has a VESA mounting system so that you can easily wall mount it. Because the stand that it comes with is kind of plasticky and mediocre, which I'll lead into some of the build quality. Now, it has a near frameless border to it with easy to see controls at the bottom. While the screen itself is fantastic, and we'll get into that a little bit more later, the rest of its housing just isn't that robust. They have to sacrifice something to get the price this low. But one of the issues I found was that when I was mounting the screws to the VESA mount, it kind of pushed in all the internal components so that I wasn't able to connect my DisplayPort cable. So I had to unscrew the mount and then plug in my cable and then screw it back in so that it wouldn't push the components in too far, which definitely feels cheap to me, but having to only do that once, I'm not really gonna fret too much about it. And the rest is all just plastic and, you know, cheap housing. But on the outside, it does not look bad at all. The control layouts were relatively easy to understand and give you a few features that some might care about. I tend to like to leave it on one color setting, tune it to how I like it, and then leave it there. One more thing to note is that once you plug it into your PC for the first time, it will not automatically resort to 144 Hertz as its refresh rate. So you have to manually put that in, otherwise you're gonna be looking at 60. And kind of what's the point of that, man? You could go all the way up to 144. I mean, that's why you bought this thing, isn't it? Now let's talk about some of the other things that might matter to you. The refresh rate. Now, I can't really show many examples because I'm filming in 24 frames a second. I'm gonna try to film some slow motion at 180 frames a second and then show you some of the differences with the response time. But, of course, as you might expect it, it's pretty good. The colors are great and natural, and one of the big things I think matters to a lot of people is there is zero ghosting, and I mean zero ghosting, between frames. And I have not once seen any screen tearing no matter what game I played. This big old monitor here is a 32-inch Pavilion 10-bit display, and even with FreeSync I still experience a bit of screen tearing. On here, not at all. And your cursor against black backgrounds or anything that's white against black will not have any halos around it. At least none that I can see. All in all, other than some lackluster build quality, the panel is darn near perfect in my opinion, especially for the price. It definitely feels like it would be worth even at least $240. All in all, it gets a very easy recommendation from me. And of course, the link will be in the description if you can find any of these left. If you have any questions or feel like I left something out, please ask below because I don't review monitors very often. That's it for me today, guys. Take care.